This is a surprisingly difficult video to make. I'm sitting down to talk to you about Super Mario Galaxy 1 and Super Mario Galaxy 2, ostensibly for the Switch 2, but really just for the Switch ecosystem as a whole. And as I was doing this, I wrote an entire script, I assigned a score, I had a review ready to go, ready to record, and as I sat down to record it, I was plagued by one thought. Who needs this? Who needs me to review Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for the Switch 2? The answer, really, that I came to, and that you probably will by the end of this video, is nobody. Nobody needs me to tell them about Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. You have probably already heard every possible opinion, and certainly every possible facet of my own opinion through someone else over the years. I know that you've heard myself, John, Brandon, Daniel, Derek, and Ash all talk about Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 at some point in the last 5 years here on GVG, and in the years prior to that, you probably heard the four of us from Game Explain talking about it there. You might have read me talking about it on Kotaku or IGN or Nintendo Life or anywhere I've worked in this industry in the past, and if you haven't, you've definitely heard someone else doing the same thing. Because here's the thing, in the last 18 years since Galaxy 1 came out, it has been dissected and reviewed and applauded by everybody in this industry at some point. Everyone has some kind of opinion on Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, and guess what? Those haven't changed. 18 years hasn't magically made Galaxy 1 and 2 worse games or better games. They are the same games they were back then, and the Switch 2 versions are just better versions of those. So let's be clear here, because I do want to talk about these games, and there is something I can add to the conversation, but it's not going to be a critical analysis or a review of these games. That would just be serving my ego as a game reviewer. Instead, I want to have a conversation with you guys about these games and their value proposition in 2025, because really that's the only thing that is left to talk about. We already know that Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are genre-defining classics. For me, they're the best Mario games ever made. I love them, and I am exactly the target audience for these re-releases. I bought Mario Galaxy on the Wii, I bought it on the Wii U, I bought it again on the Switch, and I've bought it again on the Switch too. I'm the person they're targeting with this. So when Nintendo said $70 for two of your favorite games ever made, I opened my wallet and threw my card directly at the screen. I bought the game digitally and I have a physical copy coming. So yeah, if there's a problem, I'm absolutely part of it. And I know several of us here at GVG are also part of that same problem because we love Mario, and so many people do. So it's a simple calculus for some people. For some fans, it's just going to be as simple as, is this Mario? Is it the better version? Do I gain anything from having it on Switch 2? And the answer is just kind of objectively yes, you gain something. Whether it's worth your money is an entirely different conversation. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are upgraded versions of the original games in the minorest way possible. So Nintendo has obviously got them running in 4K at 60 FPS, and they've updated textures across the board for both games. Now they still look and feel dated. Obviously there are camera issues that probably wouldn't fly in a game today, which is why I wouldn't have given this a 10. I would have given it a 9, which is what I put in the thumbnail for you. That is the real score that I had planned on giving it. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are kind of, I'd say the difference of time has lowered them to a 9, where if I reviewed them in 2007, they would have been 10s, or if I had reviewed them in 07 and I think 08 respectively, I would have given them perfect scores. But technology has marched forward just the tiniest amount, and I would love to see a free camera on these games. But realistically, when dealing with the Switch 1 and 2 versions of these, we're getting two stellar games for $70 in an era in which one good game or stellar game or okay game is 70 or maybe even 80 bucks. So when you take it in the context of just the market itself, I view Galaxy 1 and 2 as straight up just a deal. I'm getting two games that I know I'm going to love for the price of one AAA game. And I would argue that by modern AAA standards, Galaxy 1 and 2 still apply. These are games that are amazing. But I also understand why people are upset by these prices. $35 a head if you're buying the games in the bundle, $40 each if you buy them separately, and no upgrade path if you own Galaxy 1 as part of 3D All-Stars, or if you bought the standalone Galaxy 1 as part of kind of the bundle that was out there. So pricing wise, history has been unkind to Mario fans. Nintendo is known for not really dropping prices on games very much. You can walk into a store 8 years after a game comes out and pay what you did on day one. Breath of the Wild never got a price drop, as far as I'm aware, anywhere in the world. So that game was still $60, whether you bought it in 2017 or 2024. It's $70 now if you want to buy it on Switch 2 because you never picked it up and you want those upgrades. And that's going to be something that I factor into the discussion later, but let's talk a bit about the price history specifically of Mario Galaxy. When Mario Galaxy 1 came out on the Wii, this was a $50 game. And this was kind of an important thing to remember because $50 was a little bit below the new emerging standard of $60 for a video game back then. PlayStation 3 and Xbox started charging $59.99 for their games because they were HD, and this was a SD or 480p game. So Nintendo didn't really have a leg to stand on in the pricing wars there. And the Wii was kind of the value proposition of its era. The console was cheaper, the games were cheaper, and so Mario Galaxy 1 and I think 2 at release were $50. Then the Wii U era happened and we got the digital release of these on the eShop, or on the virtual console, and people were talking about how this was a $10 game. Galaxy 1 and 2 were each $10, and that is true, but there's a pretty big asterisk on that price because it was an introductory price. So when the game finally let go of that, it was revealed that they were $20. So Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 reached $20, meaning that if you got them both on the Wii U eShop and you missed out on the sale, which I think very few people did, I know I bought my copies at $9, then you were paying $40 for the set. Along came this in the Switch era, and 3D All-Stars was $60, and it came with 3 games. So you could make the argument, and I don't know how the economics work out, but you could make the argument that each of these are $20. Now, I do know that Galaxy was purchased separately, and I know someone's going to come at me in the comments for not knowing the price right off the top of my head, but this is an unscripted video. I just decided to sit down and yell at the camera for a little bit, so please forgive me if I'm wrong, but you could make the argument that Galaxy was $20 on the Switch 1 as well. So taking that $20 price, then you have to extrapolate from there, right? We know that these games are $40 each, and we know that if you buy them in a bundle, they'll give you a $5 discount on each game, effectively making them $35. So at the worst price, $20, because that's what I'm going to go with, or rather $20 plus $20, assuming that Nintendo still values the base version of these games at $20, then you can at least make the pricing make a little bit of sense here. Now, I want to be really clear that I'm not trying to tell you that this is worth your money. Money means different things to different people. What might be an impulse buy to another person may make the difference between whether or not they're able to keep their lights on or pay their phone bill or do whatever. So I'm not trying to tell you how to spend your money, but I am telling you how I think about spending mine. And when I saw that these games were $40 a piece, what my mind put together is that Nintendo values Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 at $20. And then the Switch 2 tax is another $20. Now, how does that make sense? Well, if we look at Nintendo's Switch 2 upgrade paths, you can kind of see that there's a tiered operation that goes on there as well. For instance, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom got $10 upgrade packs. Well, what did those do? They didn't touch textures, they didn't touch any art assets, but they did improve the base resolution of the game and the base frame rate. So basically, they took those 2 games, made them run at a higher frame rate in a higher resolution. It is basically the most basic type of upgrade package you can get, something that takes a game, gets it running on next-gen hardware, and gets it running in a better state. Then you have your $20 upgrade packs, which are like Kirby and other games like that, Mario Party. And this is where I think some people are going to have the most issue because traditionally a $20 upgrade patch includes DLC, like a change to the game, a pretty major one. With Kirby, we got additional levels. With Mario Party, we got Jamboree TV. So charging $20 here is kind of interesting because it lands in this kind of middle ground. We're not simply putting the games on Switch with a higher resolution, but we're also not including anything substantially new. In the case of Galaxy 2, you do have Rosalina's Storybook, which is a net new addition to the game, which required, going back and adding to the base of the original Galaxy 2. You're actually adding something brand new that wasn't there before in the Wii or Wii U digital releases. So you have something that's new. And I could see Nintendo saying, that's new content, $20 instead of $10. The same with Galaxy 1, you get not new content, but you do get new art assets. The textures are sharp and crisp and detailed in 4K in a way that the originals definitely weren't. So Nintendo did go through and seemingly more than just upscaling, they actually provided new textural assets in certain locations for Galaxy 1. I don't think personally that rises to the same level of improvement as, say, Jamboree TV or the DLC for Kirby, but it is something more than getting Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom running. And I mean, we can all have different opinions about whether that's worth $10 or $20 or $15. Some people would say that it's not worth anything and that it should be a free addition to the game when you're already charging a $20 base price, right? And obviously these are $40 base prices realistically. This isn't like a situation where you can take the game and then upgrade it, but doing some kind of, hypothetical Nintendo math here, you could potentially say that they're valuing the base game at $20 and their additional work they've done to get it on Switch 2 bumps it up by another $20. I don't think Nintendo would ever say anything like that. But I'm very curious about where people land on this because $35 a game doesn't seem like a crazy amount to me for a game that is at the level of quality that Super Mario Galaxy is. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 specifically, again, if you're buying them in the bundle. I would honestly probably even pay $40. And yeah, again, if there's a problem, I know I'm part of it, but I also know how fantastic these games are. And I think a lot of you out there do as well. So I guess the question comes down to the debate in the community is really about how much we all value our money. How much is $40 worth to somebody? What do you need to get out of it? Is it gameplay hours? Is it a certain level of quality? Games like Silksong, which Daniel recently did a video on, certainly move the conversation in an interesting direction when you have a game that is as packed with content as Silksong is, that plays as well as it does and looks as good as it does, and only cost $20, right? Then you have kind of the opposite side of things where people have felt maybe a bit upset about Mario Kart World costing $80 or Donkey Kong Bonanza's DLC being $20. When they felt it wasn't fulfilling enough. For me, we know where I land. And I think where probably your favorite game critic or reviewer or just personality or podcaster or journalist, whatever. I think most people know what their favorite people's opinions are on Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. And if you're watching this video, I assume you have at least a passing interest in these games. So if you want my recommendation, if you've never played these, get them. And if they're worth $40 or $35 each to you, then you absolutely should pick these up. They're worth your time. They're genre-defining platformers, all that stuff every journalist has ever said in praise of these games is as true today as it was in the early 2000s. It's just an awesome set of games. If there was a Criterion collection for games, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 would be in them. And if you were doing a stack ranking of all of the Mario games, 3D, 2D, or otherwise, the Galaxy games would be near the top. So it's not a question of the quality of these games, it's a question of the value. And value is going to vary person to person. But I want to know from you, how do you decide what makes a game worth the money? How do you decide what you feel the appropriate price should be for a game? Because for me, it just comes down to how much I love it. And how much I love it dictates how much I'm willing to spend on it. There are definitely other valid reasons to make purchasing decisions, and I'm certainly not a financial advisor. I wouldn't recommend spending your money on half the things that I do. So I want to hear from you. How do you end up spending your money on games? And did you pick up Galaxy 1 and 2? And if so, are you enjoying them? Was it worth it? And if you didn't, I especially want to hear from you. Why didn't you? If you love it, if you love these games and you didn't buy them, why not? What made it not worth it for you? I think that this is a really fun and interesting exercise, and I'd love to hear from you guys. We can talk about it on the Week in Nintendo, which has come back if you're unaware. But until next time, folks, if you're enjoying Galaxy 1 and 2, have fun with it. And if you're not, hit me up. Let me know. Until next time. Bye.